As the courtroom doors swung open, a hush fell over the crowd, their eyes riveting on the small figure of 5-year-old Linda Carter as she made her entrance, her steps echoing with gravity far beyond her years. Clasping the leash of her German shepherd, Rex, whose jagged scar was a silent testament to battles past, Linda was not just a child, but the linchpin in a case that could send a man to prison for life. Each person in the room held their breath, drawn into the drama of innocence confronting justice. Before we dive deeper into Linda's story, take a moment to ensure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on, so you don't miss the unfolding of this extraordinary tale. And stay with us to the end. This testimony holds a twist that promises to shake the very foundations of what we believe about truth and justice. Linda, the sole eyewitness of a harrowing abduction attempt, moved towards the witness stand with a mixture of hesitancy and resolve. Her presence was a poignant juxtaposition of vulnerability and courage, commanding the courtroom with the silent strength of her youth. Across from her, Jonathan Smith, the accused, maintained a facade of calm, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of uncertainty. With no physical evidence linking him to the crime, Linda's account was pivotal, loaded with the potential to alter lives with her words. Judge Mark Sullivan watched intently, aware of the delicate balance of seeking truth in a tapestry woven with fear and bravery. As Linda took her seat, her loyal companion Rex by her side, the courtroom seemed to draw a collective breath, preparing for revelations that could be as unpredictable as they were impactful. Remember, your engagement and comments are crucial as we unpack this gripping story. What are your thoughts on Linda's bravery? How do you interpret Rex's protective instincts? Share your views and let's discuss as this trial unfolds. Your insights enrich our journey through this complex case. As Linda Carter, a slight figure dwarfed by the vastness of the courtroom, took her seat beside Rex, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The young girl had not spoken since the day of her ordeal, rendering her the enigmatic center of a trial that gripped the hearts of all present. Linda's silence spoke volumes, filling the room with a palpable tension that even the most seasoned court attendees could not ignore. On the opposite side, Jonathan Smith, a software engineer with a clean record and an ordinary life up to that point, sat rigidly. His arrest had come as a shock to the community. An unassuming professional accused of a heinous crime based solely on an eyewitness account. Jonathan's presence at the scene had been identified by a bystander, who later picked him out from a lineup. The charges against him were severe, but the lack of physical evidence made the case hinge precariously on the testimony of a child who had, until now, locked away her words. The mystery deepened with each passing moment. Why had Linda suddenly become mute? Was it the trauma of the abduction attempt, or was there something more she was unable to express? The questions swirled around the courtroom like a chilling wind. Everyone was eager to hear Linda's side of the story, to finally understand what had happened on that fateful day. The curiosity was not just about whether Jonathan was guilty, but also about what Linda had experienced and seen, details only she could provide. As the prosecutor prepared to question Linda, the audience leaned forward, their collective curiosity turning the air thick with anticipation. This was more than just a trial. It was a puzzle waiting to be solved, and every piece that Linda could provide was crucial to completing the disturbing picture of that day's events. The tension was almost unbearable, as the courtroom waited for the voice of a brave little girl to break her silence, potentially altering the course of several lives with her words. As the tension mounted in the courtroom, the silent exchange between Linda and Rex drew an intense focus from all present. Rex's reaction was not lost on Judge Sullivan, who leaned forward, his gaze fixed on the German Shepherd, as the dog's instincts visibly took over. The room held its breath as Rex's body stiffened, and a quiet, menacing growl emerged from deep within him, his eyes never straying from Jonathan Smith. Jonathan, for his part, shifted uncomfortably under the scrutiny of Rex's unwavering gaze. His lawyer placed a calming hand on his shoulder, but the subtle reassurance did little to ease the palpable discomfort. The courtroom was alive with a palpable sense of intrigue and unease. What did Rex sense? Was it possible that the dog remembered Jonathan from the day of the attempted abduction? The prosecutor sensed the shift in the room and decided to capitalize on the moment, pressing on with questions designed to probe deeper into the relationship between Linda's traumatic experience and the defendant's involvement. Could the witness identify the person present during the incident? The prosecutor asked, directing everyone's attention back to Linda. Linda remained silent, her small hand gripping Rex's leash tightly, as if drawing strength from the animal. Judge Sullivan observed this interaction closely, pondering the unusual dynamic that was playing out before him. Could a child's silence and a dog's reaction truly be enough to link the defendant to the crime? The mystery deepened, and the air thickened with anticipation as everyone awaited Linda's response, knowing that her next actions could be pivotal. In the gallery, whispers began to circulate, spectators speculating about the connections and clues hidden within this silent communication. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of curiosity and suspense, each person forming their own theories as to how this silent testimony would impact the outcome of the trial. In a decisive move that caused a stir throughout the courtroom, Judge Sullivan raised his gavel, the sound echoing off the walls, signaling a sudden and unexpected halt to the proceedings. His experienced eyes narrowed as he observed Rex's guarded stance and unyielding gaze directed at the defendant, Jonathan. "This court will take a recess," Judge Sullivan announced, his voice firm yet tinged with curiosity. "I need to consider the unusual circumstances we've observed with the witness and her animal." As the courtroom buzzed with whispered speculations and the shuffle of exiting spectators, the judge remained seated, deep in thought. The intrigue surrounding Rex's reaction to Jonathan had introduced an unforeseen element that demanded careful scrutiny. Could the dog's behavior be an instinctual recognition of a threat linked directly to the defendant? Or was it simply a misinterpretation of animal cues? The suspense thickened as the legal teams gathered their notes, casting speculative glances toward the bench where Judge Sullivan was jotting down his observations. The air was thick with anticipation. Every attendee was left wondering about the implications of this pause. What had the judge seen that warranted such a direct intervention? The mystery deepened, leaving everyone eagerly awaiting the resumption of the trial, where the next revelations promised to be even more compelling. As the courtroom reconvened, the air was thick with tension, and the hushed whispers of the gallery ceased the moment Linda was gently led back to the witness stand. The young girl's grip tightened around Rex's leash as she approached, her small form almost swallowed by the enormity of her surroundings and the gravity of the moment. The prosecutor's voice, clear and purposeful, broke the silence, asking Linda to identify the person she had seen in the yard on the day of the attempted abduction. Linda's response was not verbal, but resoundingly clear. She lifted her tiny arm, extending a trembling finger directly towards Jonathan. This simple gesture sent a ripple through the courtroom, drawing a collective gasp from the spectators. The moment her finger pointed, Rex's reaction was immediate and intense. The dog, previously composed, now transformed into a figure of alert defiance. His body tensed, and a deep, menacing growl emanated from him, echoing off the courtroom walls. His eyes locked onto Jonathan with unsettling recognition. The atmosphere shifted palpably. The jury leaned forward, eyes wide, as the drama unfolded before them. Jonathan's face, previously masked in calm assurance, faltered under the weight of the accusing finger and the growl of the German shepherd. His lawyer placed a hand on his shoulder, whispering urgently, but it was clear that the courtroom's focus was riveted on the interaction between the child, her dog, and the accused. Judge Sullivan, observing the unfolding scene, noted the profound impact of Linda's silent accusation and Rex's animalistic response. He called for order as murmurs began to spread, reminding everyone that the courtroom was a place of reasoned judgment, not raw emotion. Yet even his voice bore a hint of the unease that Rex's behavior provoked, a stark reminder of the primal instincts that often lay dormant until moments of critical truth. The prosecutor seized the moment to emphasize the credibility of Linda's identification, arguing that the child's reaction, coupled with Rex's behavior, was evidence of a traumatic memory triggered by the presence of the accused. "Ladies and gentlemen," the prosecutor voiced firmly, addressing the jury, "consider the instinctual and unspoken testimony before you, as powerful and telling as any words spoken aloud." The defense was quick to counter, suggesting the dog's reaction was nonspecific and unreliable as legal testimony. However, the seed of doubt was already planted in the minds of the jury. The unexpected turn of events, the young girl's pointed finger, and her dog's visceral reaction, added layers of drama and urgency to the proceedings, leaving the audience on the edge of their seats, caught up in the unfolding mystery and the looming question: what truth did Rex perceive, and how would it sway the final judgment? The courtroom braced itself for the closing arguments, the air dense with anticipation and the shadow of fear that justice must now navigate through the murky waters of memory and instinct. As the trial progressed into its final stages, the atmosphere in the courtroom was electric, charged with the palpable tension of impending resolution. The prosecution presented new evidence, meticulously detailing Jonathan's connections to other missing persons cases, a development that visibly shook the courtroom. Expert testimonies and forensic analysis tied Jonathan to scenes and situations similar to Linda's abduction attempt, weaving a damning pattern of behavior that was hard to dismiss. The air grew thick with suspense as a forensic expert explained how a unique scent marker found on Linda's clothing was also detected on items related to other victims. This particular scent was linked to a type of cologne identified from Jonathan's apartment, establishing a forensic bridge that connected him directly to not just one, but multiple scenes of alleged abductions. As this evidence was laid bare, all eyes turned to Rex, whose behavior throughout the trial had been a barometer of unspoken truths. The German Shepherd once again became agitated as the scent was presented in the courtroom as part of the evidence. His reaction was not just a growl this time, but a pronounced snarl. A physical display of recognition and aggression that seemed to corroborate the scientific findings presented by the experts. The weight of the combined testimonies and the dog's reactions cornered Jonathan, whose facade of calm had been cracking under the relentless presentation of evidence. His defense team, flustered and confounded by the unexpected turn of events, attempted to regroup and provide explanations that could cast doubt on the prosecution's claims. However, the atmosphere in the room had shifted decidedly. The jury, previously on the fence, now leaned forward, their expressions etched with concern and curiosity over the unfolding drama. In a moment, charged with tension and the heavy burden of truth, Jonathan's demeanor crumbled. Faced with the overwhelming evidence and the silent but potent accusation of Rex, he did something no one anticipated. In a low, defeated tone, audible across the now hushed courtroom, Jonathan admitted to his involvement in the abduction attempts. His confession was not just a capitulation, but a surrender to the irrefutable weight of the evidence stacked against him. This admission sent ripples through the courtroom, causing a stir among the spectators, and a sigh of relief from Linda's family, who had been wrapped in anxiety and hope throughout the trial. Judge Sullivan, maintaining his composure, called for order as he prepared to deliver his final remarks. The courtroom settled into a somber stillness, reflecting in the gravity of the confession and its implications. In his closing statement, Judge Sullivan commended Linda for her bravery and Rex for his pivotal role in uncovering the truth. He highlighted the unique interplay between human justice and the instinctual honesty of an animal, which had together helped to illuminate the dark corners of the case. As the gavel struck down, declaring the session closed, the outcome was clear. Justice had been served, not just through the mechanisms of law, but through the courageous heart of a little girl and her loyal dog, whose partnership had brought light to truth in a way words alone could never have achieved. The case concluded, leaving the community to ponder the profound bond between humanity and their animal companions, and the mysterious, often unspoken language of justice they can unveil. In the weeks following the trial, the profound impact of Linda and Rex's story began to resonate far beyond the confines of the courtroom. Linda, who had once been trapped in a silence wrought by trauma, gradually found her voice again, a testament to the healing power of her unwavering bond with Rex. With each day, her words became stronger, fueled by the safety and understanding she felt in the presence of her loyal canine companion. Their story captivated the public, emerging as a symbol of the extraordinary connection possible between humans and animals. It served as a powerful reminder of the sensitivity and perceptiveness of dogs, whose abilities to perceive and react to human emotions can lead to profound outcomes. The media coverage of the trial highlighted these aspects, drawing attention to the role of service animals in therapeutic settings and beyond, inspiring countless discussions about enhancing animal-assisted interventions for trauma survivors. As Linda regained her voice, the community celebrated not only the legal victory, but also the emotional triumphs that followed. The courtroom's final applause for Linda and Rex was a mix of admiration and relief, a collective acknowledgement of their courage and the justice served. This case had not only secured a conviction, but had also highlighted the resilience of the human spirit when supported by the unconditional love and loyalty of an animal. The legacy of their journey offers hope and guidance to many, illustrating the healing that comes from companionship and mutual trust. Linda's gradual return to herself, assisted by Rex's steadfast presence, provides a heartening example of recovery and the possibility of finding one's voice in the aftermath of adversity. It is a narrative that continues to inspire and encourage all who hear it, a reminder of the light that can emerge from the darkest of times. We invite you to share your thoughts and experiences with the incredible bond between humans and animals. Have you witnessed or experienced a similar connection? What impact has a pet or service animal had on your life or the lives of those around you? Comment below. Share this story with others to spread the message of hope and healing. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories like Linda and Rex's.